Aloha once again, friends and family. Today we're going to start the book called Ascension, the Shift to the Fifth Dimension, the Arcturian Council, channeled by Daniel Scranton. Introduction. Some of you might be wondering who the Arcturian Council are, where they came from, and why we would want to listen to them. I'm sure you'll understand more as you read through this book, but to make it easier on those of you who are brand new to my work and the Arcturians, here's a brief tutorial. The Arcturian Council are a ninth dimensional collective of beings who have evolved and ascended within the Arcturian star system. By comparison, we are in the fourth dimension and we are ascending to the fifth. The Arcturians no longer incarnate in physical bodies. They are consciousness, energy, light, and love, and their desire is to be of service to humanity. If you feel a particular fondness for the red giant known as Arcturus, the Arcturians, and or the Arcturian star system, it's likely because you've incarnated there before. By all accounts, the Arcturian star system is like a spiritual retreat center, and beings who incarnate there do so to explore their spirituality, expand, grow, and basically take the physical and non-physical experiences of being aspects of Source as far as they possibly can. I channeled these transmissions. I call them transmissions, but sometimes I call them messages or quotes too. You'll notice they're all in quotes, and that's because they are precisely the messages that came through me. Although they've been proofread to make sure I didn't leave anything out in the transcription from the spoken to written word, not a word has been changed. These messages are exactly as the Arcturian Council intended them to be. What is channeling? It's a connection to beings that exist in other bodies, other dimensions, and sometimes even different time periods. The connection is both telepathic and energetic. I can feel the energetic connection while I'm accessing the meaning that the beings I'm connected to are conveying. The feeling is the most important part. As you read the transmissions in the following pages, don't just dissect them with your mind, absorb them energetically. They are infused with so much more than can be contained on a piece of paper. Each page of this book contains a different channeled transmission. Each transmission was recorded and transcribed on a different night. I have been channeling the Arcturian Council for over a year, and almost every night I channel a new transmission from them. The ones that made it to the book are here because they seemed timeless, like they stood apart from the rest. Love, Daniel Scranton. Chapter 1, The Shift to the Fifth Dimension. Greetings, we are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We have been placing our attention on what you all desire, and we have been creating our own templates for your fifth dimensional experience. These templates will be made available to any and all of you who would like to access them. Now you are creating your own templates, some of you more consciously than others. but we are creating templates for the entire human collective as we have that broader view of you. We can see each and every one of you, and we know your desires. We know what it is you have been striving for as a collective, and therefore we have created samples for you, and they are just that. They are merely options, suggestions that you will have access to as you shift over to the fifth dimension. You will have access to them in the sense that they will be optional realities for you. But if you want to download the schematics of our templates, then you are more than welcome to do so before you shift. Those of you who are working more consciously on creating this fifth dimensional reality that you've been hearing so much about will appreciate the input. You can and will appreciate our perspective on what it is that humanity would like to be living. We only want to enhance that which you are all doing. We don't want to take over. We can't. We can only suggest and offer our insights and perspectives. One of the things we have noticed you all desire is an easier time moving around. You all desire to have no traffic, no pollution, no security lines, and so we have devised a portal system, which are like mini stargates. These portals are natural. There will be no technology involved in it, and therefore it will be safe to use for everyone. Again, this is one option that you can utilize for transportation in the future, and any of you can improve upon what we come up with, because you are the ones living it. You are the ones creating the fifth dimensional reality. But our help will always be there for you if you need it or want it. You have taken the steps forward on your journeys that are necessary to bring in the help that you've been getting. You see, help isn't just distributed when you are in need of it. That's what happens when the help you need is coming from non-physical. But when you demonstrate a readiness for help on a physical level, that's when your physical extraterrestrial brothers and sisters are able to step in. The higher you raise your vibration, the closer you are in proximity to them. And so it doesn't become as much about help as it does collaboration. Now what you are collaborating on are some upgrades that will tide you over physically until you are fully occupying your light bodies. When you let the help in and you receive the upgrades to your physical bodies so that you carry more light in them, you are not only granting permission to continue on this journey with your extraterrestrial friends, but you are also exercising your free will to make the experience of your ascension easier. We know that We know that it has been very hard on you emotionally, and second to the emotional hardship has been the physical symptoms. You have all endured so many ascension symptoms, and some of you for decades have been struggling to feel right in your physical bodies. Now with this final upgrade, you will be able to handle the light and the codes that you will be downloading. You will be able to make a transition into a light body seamlessly, and you will see a gradual letting go of the ascension symptoms, even the ones you've been carrying around for decades. This is a big step forward for humanity, and the timing is right, as you are now in the final stages of this seemingly endless ascension journey. It will all be worth it, however, in the long run, and you will recognize how every experience, no matter how painful, was a part of this journey and a necessary one. You are awakening parts of yourselves now that are happy to be included in your ascension journey. We have many different aspects. You have many different aspects of yourselves that will be awakening in the coming years. You will be familiarizing yourselves with a whole host of past life selves. These are versions of you from the past that grew in leaps and bounds in one lifetime, but still did not achieve what you are on the precipice of right here and now. These are aspects of you that have done the work, and yet at the end of their lives they passed on just like every other past life version of you. And to them it wasn't fair. They were hoping to achieve something more, but because of the timing of their lives, there was only so far they could go. Now, as you awaken these aspects of yourselves, you are going to feel a lot more excitement. You are going to remember things about those lifetimes. And you are going to integrate the knowledge and abilities from those past life selves to help you along. It is not a matter of if you are going to ascend. It is only a matter of when. And you can use all the help you can get to make the transition smoother and to get to the fifth dimension more quickly. The recognition that you have been awakened in previous lifetimes and have taken your consciousness as far as it could go in those lifetimes will help you. You're not reinventing the wheel here, and you don't have to start from scratch. We recommend that you call upon these other aspects of you to share what they can and welcome them into your hearts. As you get to know more of who you have been, you will get a better sense of who you are becoming. It is the perfect time for all of you to consider how you would like to be moving forward in this next phase of your evolution. You are getting to decide how you move forward in spite of what you might be told from others. Others who make it seem as though the next 5 to 10 years are set in stone for all of you. Nothing could be further from the truth. You are the pioneers here. You are the creators and co-creators. And it is your time to be the deciders, the ones who actualize your own evolution. You can, of course, just wait and see what happens. You can look for new predictions to tell you what's going to happen next. Or you can take the wheel and decide for yourselves what it's going to take. You can decide for yourselves what it's going to take for you as individuals to evolve. Do you need drama and trauma in your life to be inspired, to feel your emotions? Do you need hardship in order to create? Do you need to see evidence of the rest of humanity lagging behind in order to do something about the evolution of your consciousness? We want you to know that it is something that happens automatically, but it is also something that you can facilitate. You can put your foot on the gas pedal and bring yourselves to a heightened sense of awareness. You can choose to love more, to meditate more, to connect more with nature and Mother Earth. You can reach out to other aspects of yourself. You can reach out to higher dimensional beings. You can be an active participant in the evolution of your consciousness. You can steer the rest of humanity in that direction as well. You don't have to sit around and wait for something to happen. You don't even have to wait for some grand, inspired idea. Just stop what you're doing from time to time and check in with how you're feeling, how you're vibrating. Do some conscious breathing, meditate, but just be sure you're taking care of the evolution of your consciousness. We have discovered that the greatest strength that humanity has is your ability to listen to one another and understand where the other is coming from. This ability that you have is what gives you compassion, and that compassion allows you to tap into the unconditional love that you truly are as source energy beings. The opposite of what we are talking about here is also present on planet Earth. You have plenty of people who are unwilling to see or even attempt to see another's perspective. We find this to be what polarizes you on many issues. There are probably a few issues for those of you who are listening where you find it next to impossible to understand where someone else is coming from, someone who disagrees with your perspective. If you can admit that, you can start to move in the direction that will bring you together as a human collective. If you can find the desire within you to allow others who disagree with you to have their perspective, then that is another positive step forward for humanity. You might think that we are talking about here is not significant. You might think that some cosmic event is going to have a bigger impact than what we are talking about here. But think about how strong you would be if you could come together as one human race. Think about what message that would send to your extraterrestrial friends, and think about a planet where there was peace, harmony, and collaboration, rather than a 24-hour news cycle where most of those hours are filled with talking heads screaming their perspectives at one another. We suggest that you turn away from anything that is a polarizing program, and that you seek instead to understand your next door neighbor, your coworker, or even someone in your own family who has a different perspective than yours. You will bring the collective together one step at a time. We have the foresight to determine what is best for the human race in the long run, and we can give you messages and transmissions that will put you in a vibration that is more likely to influence you onto a particular timeline. You still have free will to decide for yourselves what you are going to do, how you are going to vibrate, and which timeline you will ultimately choose. We love you and want the best for you, and so we look at all of the variables in determining what is best for you to know and what energies are best for you to have access to. Now you can do the same for yourselves, and this is what we want to encourage you to do. It is more challenging for you because most of you only access the past and the present, but that is enough. It is enough to be present. It is enough to be present and to feel for the vibration of the timeline that you're on. You can determine for yourselves whether that timeline suits you or not. What becomes more challenging for you is when you attempt to take the temperature of humanity and determine the vibration that the rest of the collective is offering. It can be very challenging for some of you to believe that humanity is headed in a positive direction at all, but that is usually due to the fact that you are tuning in to what the media is emphasizing. If you want to truly take the temperature of humanity and access the truth of the collective's vibration, you need to connect to Mother Earth and feel for the vibration that she is giving off. You can also look at the people around you and notice how they are evolving. You can tell by how a person's energy feels whether he or not is moving in a positive direction. And although it may be hard at times to notice, we know that you can feel for the progress in the beings that you connect with on a regular basis. We know that you can, with a little effort, feel for the motion forward that humanity is making, and you can rest assured that this timeline you are on now is one that will lead you to a more joyous journey and ultimately to the fifth dimension. You have transitioned yourself so much already that you are not even the same beings that you were just a few years ago. You have come so far and evolved so much, and you are ready now as a result of that evolution to be allowed access to the light bodies that are within you, that are occupying the same space as your physical ones. Here is what you can do with your light bodies. You can shapeshift. You can transform yourselves into whatever form you want to be. You can levitate. You can fly. You can bilocate. And you can teleport. So of course, you can cure yourselves of anything at all. You would so easily find yourselves healing that you would never fear harm to your light body. One of the ways in which you access this light body is by no longer thinking of your physical body as who you really are. When you stop identifying yourselves by your physical body, when you stop seeing it as who you are, you become less attached. And when you are less attached to your physical body, you can access a truer representation of who you are. That is what your light bodies are. They are more accurate representations of the eternal and infinite consciousness that you really are. They are more expressive, and of course they hold more light. So you will feel better about being physical, because you will still be physical when you fully access your light body. But here is the thing. You won't think of yourself as physical beings. You will think of yourselves as consciousness that can take form. And that is very liberating. You can release yourselves from the cycle of birth and death and reincarnation. And you can just be who you really are. It is the destiny of humanity to ascend. And you all have chosen to be part of that journey. This is a time of much deliberation because there are so many beings in the universe who want to help humanity. Now, in the same way that when you are teaching a child to tie his or her shoes, it is better that the child does the majority of the tying. In your case, it is better that you all do the majority of the heavy lifting. Now, what we mean by that is your pathway to ascension involves facing a lot of heaviness. It is why you are seeing so much negativity in many different forms on the planet right now. You cannot just have beings landing their ships and making everything better for you, removing those in power who are not of the light. You need instead to face all this that is in front of you and take the emotional hits that you are taking. Some of you are doing this in your personal lives with family members, spouses, children, people who are challenging you in all the many ways that they can. Others are more globally focused and taking the hits from seeing the bombings and shootings, the hate speech, and the divisiveness of your polarized society. Here's how we have decided to support you. We are going to continue to transmit unconditional love to the human race in order to activate more of it within you. But it is up to you whether you accept that unconditional love. At times, you have to let go of whatever it is you are focusing upon that has you clenched up so that you can relax and receive. And when you are open enough to do so, you will feel the love and light that is coming to you from the higher realms. And you will be able to look upon your fellow humans through the eyes of love. You have placed yourselves in a position that you wanted to be at this time. You knew before you incarnated that after December 21st, 2012, you would have a window of opportunity in front of you to make decisions as a collective that would either guide you to the fifth dimension or to the destruction of your planet. You made the decision to ascend. The potential was always there, but what was needed in order for the journey to continue to the fifth dimension was enough awakened beings to hold the vibration for the rest of planet Earth and the rest of humanity. You are not overpopulated. Your planet can handle the billions of you that are currently incarnate, and there is power, of course, in numbers. As we have said, the Star Children volunteered to come forth to be that final piece of the puzzle to hold space for the collective. And those of you who have been awake and living through these past several years have also been doing the work that was necessary to continue the journey. Now, at this time, you can relax. You can celebrate the knowingness that you are making the journey, and you can feel significance of this accomplishment. You can also let yourselves off the hook. Many of you who came forth with the knowingness that you had a mission did not realize that the mission would be something much bigger than writing a book or opening a healing center. It would be much bigger than delivering channeled messages. Your mission has been to hold the vibration for the rest of humanity, and you have done so. And for many of you, it has been a very tumultuous ride, but there is no turning back now. Now you can hold space for yourself. You can shift into creation mode, and you can create the remainder of the journey to be exactly as you want it to be. You will take the rest of humanity, those who choose to come with you. It is the substance of your lives, this journey that you are on. It is the essence of why you incarnated here in the first place. You wanted to feel what it would feel like to shift your consciousness, but you also wanted to feel what it would feel like to be conscious of that shift before it happened. That's why you are awakened. It was a choice. You chose to have the experience of being an awakened individual who is in the midst of an ascension journey. Now, how does that differ from lifetimes where you were raised in a religious family and you believed that you would someday go to heaven? You were also told in those lifetimes that you were in control of your own destiny. All you had to do was follow the rules, worship this being, ask for forgiveness, or some other combination of things, and poof, you would arrive in heaven upon your death. What's the difference? Well, an awakened being knows that he or she is the source, the being that created it all, including your journey. You know that you existed prior to this incarnation and that you are an eternal being. You know that you will never stop ascending, and yet you also understand the significance. You know that you will never stop ascending, and yet you also understand the significance of this particular shift at this particular time on this particular planet. Hopefully you recognize that you help others not by getting them to believe what you believe, but by helping them feel what they need to feel. Everyone who is on planet Earth at this time came for a feeling journey. You all came because you wanted to experience what this would feel like. It's also a challenge, and you all like challenges. You also realize that one of the keys to making all of this work is a lack of judgment. That means you don't judge yourselves and you don't judge others. And as source energy beings, you know that there's no one and nothing outside of you to place that judgment upon you. You know that your ascension is a choice, and we know that you have made a very good choice in being awakened while you ascend. You have taken yourselves to a point in your evolution where the hard part of this journey is behind you. You can start to coast on the momentum that has been created in all of your previous experiences and lifetimes. You have been raised to believe in hard work, to believe in struggle, and to believe that there is no gain without pain. And so it is our job to deprogram you and to convince you that you can know that you can go a lot easier on yourselves from now on. When you hear about the ideas of letting go and surrendering, it often sounds to you like the ones who are pushing that on you want you to give up on your dreams, or at least it seems like you are supposed to give in to the current set of circumstances in your lives. What we want to suggest to you is that there is much more to being gained in your release of tension and resistance and the trying to make something happen than there is in holding on tight to your desires. When you let go, you demonstrate a certain amount of trust in the universe and in the laws of the universe. What we want for you more than anything else is to experience yourselves as creator beings, and to have that experience, you must trust that the hard work is done. You must be willing to give in to the flow, to be conduits of energy, rather than the ones who are turning the crank to generate the energy that you then hope will take you home. Letting go, surrendering, and trusting will open the floodgates for you, and you will solidify yourselves in the position of creators of your reality. Indeed, there is a great power in letting go and letting all of that energy that you have summoned in. You have been orchestrating a monumental shift forward for the human collective. The way that you have gone about this is by getting together in groups and even by connecting using your technology. You have been creating energetic hotspots around the planet, and you are linking up with one another through these gateways that you are accessing. You are casting a net over the entire planet with your intentions, with your desires to connect with one another. There is a movement afoot, and that movement is about creating greater intimacy through the way in which you all approach your spirituality. Spirituality is something that you discuss at the dinner table. It is something that you can mix with business, economics, and politics. It is something that those of you who are passionate about it have been infusing into your work, infusing into your art, infusing into your music, and you are spreading conscious awareness like wildfire. You are helping to awaken others, but most importantly, you are connecting with each other through your hearts. You are helping each other get to the next level of this evolutionary journey. You are sharing your stories. You are normalizing each other's experiences. When the ones who have been labeled as crazy or outcasts begin to find each other and see the commonality in your experiences, that's when you know you are on the right track. That's when you know you have support on the physical level. As the more of you who come together and share experiences, the more of you who come together to meditate or tone or play with toning bowls, the more the expansion of humanity flourishes. The expansion of your consciousness as a collective is something that you put energy into every single day, and we see it. And we just want to acknowledge you for it so that you can see the web that you are creating around the globe, and more importantly, so that you can feel it. You face many obstacles in the living of the life that you want to live. The obstacles that are there have been placed there by you in order to keep your desire heightened. The desire of the collective is what fuels all of you on this journey of ascension. If everything were exactly as you all wanted it to be, you would experience more complacency. Need accelerates the forces of energy that you are working with. That is why you have created for yourselves a version of reality where there are so many needs that are not being met. It doesn't matter what your desire is. It does not matter how basic it is or how extravagant. The desire helps bring about a higher level of consciousness. If you can have a desire and not have that desire fulfilled and find joy and peace within yourself, then you can raise the level of consciousness on planet Earth. Now, desires often get a bad rap because of the things that some people are willing to do in order to fulfill those desires, in order to get past or remove those obstacles. But what we see more of on planet Earth is the human who makes peace with the fact that the desire is just out of reach. We see humans finding joy in the littlest of things. Having desires is healthy, and it is keeping you all interested in being on planet Earth to see this shift in consciousness through. Please recognize that when a desire that you have is not being fulfilled, it is helping you to attain a higher level of consciousness. This world and this experience have been a giant setup to get you to become more of who you really are. And it is all working perfectly well from our perspective. We are pleased to give you this progress report. It has been quite a ride for those of you who have volunteered to be here at this time to help with the shift in consciousness for humanity and planet Earth. You have endured so much, and yet it seems as though there is no end to how much life can throw at you. The progress that we can see from where we sit is that all of you who have been struggling are gaining some momentum in your responses to what your lives have thrown at you. You have identifiable traction that we can see and feel. It is the energetic support that you have been calling upon to have begun receiving. You are able to stand a bit taller, hold your vibrations a bit longer, and you are turning the traumas, tragedies, and frustration of your lives into the fodder that you will use to create the new earth of the fifth dimension. Those of you who have felt alone for quite some time are beginning to find each other, and you are sharing your stories. More and more of you are realizing that you're not alone, that there is power in your numbers, and it is not just the asking that you have been doing that is paying off, but because you are connecting and recognizing yourselves as a collective, you are benefiting from the asking of those other volunteers like yourselves who have come to help. Now, some of you often feel like you're not doing enough, or you sense that there's a purpose for your being here on planet Earth, but you cannot determine what that is. And that is because there are no actions necessary for you to take. Your presence here and your willingness to endure is your gift to the rest of humanity. It is your gift to the entire galaxy and the entire universe as you summon forth so much more of that high frequency energy because of what you've endured, because of the struggles that you faced. Everything now is pointing you towards the ascension of humanity. And it is up to you to feel for the support that you're getting, the connections that you're making, and to remember the bigger picture here of what you are accomplishing. This is a historic time for the planet and all of her inhabitants. And you who are awakened are the ones who are leading the movement forward. You have a place in history that many other beings have sought. You are at the heart of something that is so gigantic, and yet most of the people on planet Earth are unaware that anything at all is happening. This is as it needs to be at this time. To make history, it is still necessary for most humans to remain asleep. The reason why it is necessary is because you need the intensity of the polarity that you are experiencing on planet Earth right now to fuel you. You need the desire for change to be great enough amongst the vast majority of you in order to make the shift. It is very appropriate that there is so much discontent among the masses. It is creating the ideal conditions for the shift that you have been waiting for. Extreme polarities create a need for balance. If you were all content, awake, peaceful, harmonious beings, you would still be shifting and evolving, but you wouldn't do it as quickly as you are doing it now. The desire simply would not be there. Desire can be a wonderful tool. It can be such a powerful catalyst. Now there is also the truth that more and more people are waking up every day, and the newly awakened have the propensity to feel empowered and to have the ability to sense that their desires will be fulfilled. Some of you who have been awake for quite some time have become jaded. Some have lost hope, but all are holding more light within them. And those of you who have awakened first on planet Earth are lighting the way for the newly awakened. And you are all capitalizing on the huge desire for change that is among the collective. You are ready to receive the next set of upgrades to your consciousness. You have a limited perception of reality due to restraints that you placed upon your own consciousness as you incarnated into this physical experience. You wanted to have a particular experience of reality, and that necessitated that you have these restraints. We are working with beings throughout the galaxy to remove those restraints. We are particularly interested in what will happen when these restraints are removed. We will be observing you very carefully to see how you utilize the newfound abilities that you will uncover. Some of you are going to have more immediate experiences than others. For others of you, it will take time for the abilities to manifest themselves. You all have had different experiences in the past with these abilities that were so natural to you in other lifetimes. Some of you experienced great loss and trauma as the result of the use of one or more of your abilities. And for those of you that have had those experiences, it will take longer. You will have to move through the energy and emotion of those traumatic experiences. For those of you who have had more pleasant experiences, it will be an easier transition. Now, many of you have caught a glimpse of what it will be like to have the restraints removed because you have vibrated yourselves into a frequency range that has allowed you to have a sneak preview. And for those of you who have had those experiences, you would snap right back into your usual vibration, and the restraints would be back on after a brief experience. The process of uncovering these abilities is using them in a way that serves you and the rest of humanity is one that you will need to help with. Ask your guides for help. Ask whatever archangels or ascended masters or other beings you feel comfortable with for help. It is going to be quite a ride. You are bringing forth a tremendous amount of energy as you shift to the fifth dimension. You are accessing more through different channels than you had previously been able to access, and you have far less blockages within you than you have previously in this lifetime. What this means is that you are ready to assist the ETs who have been working behind the scenes to ensure that everything goes smoothly with the shift in consciousness. They have been waiting for you, and now you are ready. You are ready to provide them with more of the essence of the human race. You are becoming more hybridized, but not in the traditional meaning of that word. As you access these channels and allow more energy to flow, you are becoming more of your source energy selves and mixing that essence with the essence of humanity to create a brand new race of humans. The ETs who have been helping you, and they are from all across the galaxy, are very impressed by this movement forward in humanity. They recognize your readiness, and they are eager to work with you. Many more of you are having dreams of meetings with ET beings, and this will continue. Even more will find themselves dreaming about being on ships and speaking to councils and collectives. And all of it readies you for the experience in the waking state. More than anything else, you have readied yourselves by releasing your own blockages to these very powerful channels and letting in so much more of Source. The human experience in planet Earth is changing, and it is changing for the better. You are the leaders of this movement because you have this knowing that you are Source energy beings, but without any of the hubris that sometimes accompanies that knowing. You have been taking the necessary steps forward in your evolutionary journey to bring you to a place of readiness for the systematic elimination of entities that have been draining your energy fields. We have noticed that a large majority of humans have been releasing these entities from your fields, and most of you have been doing it without even realizing that they were there in the first place. The change that has occurred, that has allowed this to happen, is that more of you are choosing love over fear. You are choosing to process your fear, and then you are choosing love as your dominant operating state of being. These entities feed off of fear, and fear is the way that they find their human hosts. Now, once they have removed themselves from your fields, they must locate another place to go in order to continue to exist in the way that they have been. But in that process of searching, many of them are evolving themselves and going to the light, returning to their oversoul. The result is that there are less of these entities on planet Earth at this time than there have been in a very, very long time. You are, as a collective, doing the work that is necessary to shift to the fifth dimension. These beings cannot come with you, of course, and you cannot make the strides that you need to make if they are hanging on. So it is time to celebrate this moment in human history, and it is time to congratulate yourselves for this accomplishment. And now that you are aware of what you have achieved, you can acknowledge that you have been choosing love over fear in your personal lives. And even though you live in a world filled with circumstances and events and even people to fear, that game is losing its grip on all of you. You are ready for a less polarized experience of reality. And you are ushering in a time of greater peace and harmony on planet Earth. We are happy to report this to you. We are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with you. And we'll leave it there for today, my friends and family. We leave you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Until next time, my friends.